Okay, we are live and welcome to Hangout on Connections, the weekly show by myself, Heidi Hörnlein, and Margarita Christolodes. And we are in episode 88 today, and it's about awareness and tools for consciousness. And our special guest is Cheri Valentine. Hello, Cheri.
Hi, Heidi, and hi, Margarita.
So nice to meet you again. So I would like to read to you what Margarita has written in the description because I think it's very important. She says the key to marketing, not only to marketing, to many other things too, is awareness. It seems important nowadays. Also, we need to pay attention to our personal life and situation. Awareness is a skill that is necessary to live a great life. In this episode, so today, we will talk about some of the tools you can use to gain awareness. And we have invited Cheri, and she is a real master in sharing the tools she's using with you. But before Margarita will introduce her, I will say some words about me. You probably know me in the meantime. I'm Heidi Hörnlein, or Adelheid Hörnlein. Let's say, first of all, I was a voice coach and a classical singer, but then I'm a relationship coach, and I am a guest house owner, and I am, what I like most, a host here in live shows. Together with Margarita and with my husband, we are doing the Wisdom Factory, and you can subscribe for our newsletter in the Wisdom Factory DE. We have tomorrow a wonderful show which is talking about the crisis in Europe and in the Middle East. And don't miss it if you are interested in how our future here will be. That's enough for me today. Margarita, to you.
Okay, I am Margarita Christolodes, and I help professional women overcome stress and struggle and discover their purpose in life and business. As an intuitive mentor and healer, I love seeing my clients flourish when they experience transformational healing in their life. So you can learn more about me on my website, thecrystallotus.com. So now to our special guest here today. I'm going to also see how I can introduce her. I'm going to read her a little intro here. Cheri Valentine, I should pronounce it because it's like a French name, right? Very lovely, heartfelt, I think. She is a shamanic healer, EFT specialist, spiritual and intuitive coach for personal and professional success. So Cheri's mission is to lead the way to empower women leaders to amplify their innate wisdom and potential in their personal and professional life. She teaches you how to create your own recipe for success in your life, health, business, and relationship. Cheri's innovative and integrative approach to healing, coaching, mentoring, and masterminding success. She inspires others to bring their own mission and passion to life, play by their own rules, and express themselves powerfully and magnetically. So did I get everything right there, Cheri?
Sounds good to me. Yes, it's perfect. Thank you.
Okay, do you want to add anything?
No, well, I'm sure it'll unfold as we speak. But yeah, I'm just delighted to be here, Margarita and Heidi. Thank you so much for inviting me. It's been my pleasure to actually get to know you both through your hangouts and shows, and then I've had the great pleasure to connect with you both personally, and I'm so grateful for that. We're all very much aligned, and I think it's important that we all come together to share our very similar messages because there's so much more power in the collective.
Yes, I agree with that. And, you know, as a healer, I appreciate meeting other healers and consciousness explorers. And when we are combining our tools like intuition, I work in intuition too, and helping people with that. And so that's Cheri. So what do you think, Cheri, is awareness. Could you define what awareness really means for you?
Yes, yes, because I think that is actually so key in anybody's success in their life, whether it's personal or professional, and not just success, but happiness and joy. And awareness is just being tuned into your feelings, to your thoughts, to your reactions, to your emotions, and understanding how that they can serve you, and that there's messages there for you. I think awareness is being really clear. There's a sense of clarity that comes with awareness that helps you to make choices as you move forward. And there's so many ways to do that. But for me, I know that when I put awareness, I wouldn't say they're the same, but they integrate with presence. I realized that when I had set an intention for myself to be present in my life and to be present in each moment with what I was doing, I started to gain more of an awareness of what interfered, what was shown, what I needed to either address or release or shift in a way that I could be more present. And had I not set that intention, then I wouldn't have had an awareness so much so when things maybe weren't working for me or when I wasn't in alignment with my intention.
So intention is one tool, right?
Oh, it's a huge tool. I mean, I think it's foundational. I know a lot of people talk about goals, and I think goals are important, but I think goals are a byproduct of intention.
Mm. So
And that's where awareness comes in.
Yeah, can we talk a little bit about intention? So how, for me, it is like an energetic energy that I create inside, and then I put it out, and then I put words on it. So what is your take on intention setting?
I absolutely love the way you worded that, and I would agree. For me, I think it's first of all, it's an internal understanding or an internal awareness of where you want to go, who you want to be, and once you have that, then you ignite a vibration within yourself, and you send that energy out to the universe in a way that things can start to line up for those intentions to become real.
Yeah, I mean, so I think that intentions has been used very, very often by many people. I have an intention to do this, and I have an intention to do this. So how do you solidify the intention? What particular way do you actually, like stepwise, like first I do this and then I do this, like in general, right?
Yeah. Well, first of all, I start with a vision.
Yes.
I really sit and get very clear, and I ground with the earth's energy. And I actually connect also with universal divine energy, and sit and really look at what the vision is. What is the vision, either for, in a general sense, my life, or for my business, or for a particular project, for a relationship. So I start with a vision of what that looks like fully, what it looks like, what it feels like, what it means to me, why it's important. And once I have that, from there, I look at, well, what are my intentions around this as a result to create this vision. And the intentions, again, for me, they feel like they're more of they're a feeling. They're a feeling and a vision. And once I have the intention, if I feel that particular goals are needed, like I think an intention is the umbrella from which we are going to move forward. And then from there, we can set goals if we need to, be more specific. We start to pay attention when lessons show up, opportunities come in. And so I think of it, one as an umbrella, but I also think of intentions as the foundation. When you have a foundation, you can grow and build from it. And I think that's how we're all supposed to be. We're supposed to be sort of integrated with being grounded, but also with growth and opening up, and they need to work together. You need a foundation from which to grow and expand, but you also need to bring in the light, and we need to take what's out there and ground it into the reality, and they feed each other.
I totally agree with that. Oh, go ahead, Heidi.
Okay. We have Scott in the audience, and he said it's good to start with a vision. He is a visional artist, I'm sure. But it's true, it's true. Cheri, I wanted to ask you, you know, I observe in my own life, there is a while in my life I have this intention, then it's a little bit different, and then it's a little bit different. How do you clear the intention, and how do you reinforce the intention so that it is strong enough to really lead you instead of being, challenged by this and that and this and that, by thoughts of, whatever it is, what can challenge intentions?
I'll use a real example, and just to be more specific instead of talking general. I think I learned better that way, and I think I can explain it. But so, all right, I created an intention for myself that I wanted to have, everything that I did, I wanted to do it from a space of love. I wanted to be loving and present. And so when I had that intention, then lots of experiences came in that would maybe weren't really reflecting that that was my intention, because clearly I wasn't acting in such a way or thinking in such a way. So for me, it comes back to awareness. So I'll give you a very real example. My husband and I have a blended family, and we come from very different backgrounds and experiences. So coming together in our relationship, it was really important for me to really, really come from a loving place for all of us. And that wasn't always easy. There was definitely some challenges, with he had a daughter, and, he had family, I had family, all of that. So, but what I would do is I would become aware, like there were times when my thoughts maybe weren't so loving. And I'll just use his mother as an example, because it's such a powerful example of transformation and growth and healing when you set that intention. So we definitely, saw things a little differently. And I'll give one example very particular. Was our second Christmas together. And I was really stuck in how I wanted my Christmas to be, because I've done it the same way all these years. And the first year, it flowed so nicely and fit into my pattern, and clearly she had her own vision and experience of what that would be. And so initially, it was very difficult. I wasn't being very understanding of her perspective. I was sort of wanting to be stuck in my own space, which, and me being right, and this is what's important. And when I realized that that's what I was doing, when I actually heard what I was saying, and I felt how I was reacting and what it was doing to me in my body, I realized this isn't very loving at all. So I asked myself, what would be more loving, or for me, I think I look in the mirror. So I started to hear the things that I was saying about her. And I was like, okay, wait a minute. If this is what I'm seeing, what is she reflecting back to me? Like, what's maybe true for me that I'm not seeing, but I'm seeing it through her? And then that's when I was like, oh my goodness, she's no different than I am, and I started to have compassion for where she was in her life in this experience for this particular Christmas. And I started to have compassion for myself, and I realized that it wasn't really as important to me as it was for my children. Like, for me, I felt I needed to honor something on their behalf. So I took myself out of the equation, but I couldn't do that when I was stuck in, judgment and criticism and wanting it to be the way I wanted it to be. So that's a really powerful example of intention. So I was able to actually realize, okay, if my intention is to come in and be present with love, the way I'm acting right now is not very loving. And so what do I learn from that? What do I gauge? What thoughts need to change? Is there an experience inside of me that, is maybe being triggered, and it needs some healing, or it needs some attention? And so I would do some EFT and tapping around that particular thing. So I would really, and because I was able to do that each time, our relationship shifted and changed to we actually have a very loving relationship.
Cool, cool. Can
Cool.
I recap here a little bit what we had? So I did this little thing about intuition or intention. So first you did the vision, and then you saw a vision, right? And you gather your energy, you ground it, and then you added words to it, and now you solidified it, and coming from a place of love. And then you got the challenge, and then you got your mother-in-law's mirroring back to you. Is that what you have said?
Yes, I love the visual the way you're able to capture that. So so lovely. Yes.
I would like to show Scott here. He said, "Gosh, the holidays are so stressful."
Yeah, only if you let them be, Scott. We have choice. No, yeah, that's one of the most stressful times ever, the holidays. And perhaps I think, obviously we're coming into the holidays, so maybe that's why that example came through. And the other thing too, just a shameless plug here, this afternoon I'll be tapping on Tappy Break, and I'm using how judgments can serve you is what we're going to tap. So we're going to really go in and look at the judgments that we have about other people and ourselves and how we can use them to serve us. So maybe again, that was so not intentional, but just being present allowed those two messages to come through.
Yeah, I see.
Excuse me. When is your session?
It will be today at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I'm going to be doing it through Blab. Hopefully, I'm hoping people will actually come in and be in the seats with me, and it can be a more real interactive tapping versus me doing just the general tapping. So I'd love people to come in and be there and be able to participate.
So when people are looking at the replay here on your website or on any other place, are you going to have tapping sessions on Blab regularly?
I am. This month of October, I'm doing them at 3 o'clock on Thursdays, but I think going forward, the time will be earlier on Thursdays. I may play around with the time, offer different times too, so different people can come live. But for now, I'm looking at Thursdays at some point. Yeah.
So tapping is the next method, right?
Tapping is a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful tool that everyone needs to have in their arsenal of personal transformation and growth, and not just personally, but if you are a business owner, if you're growing a business, you are going to come face to face with more of the blocks and challenges and limiting beliefs than you ever knew were there. And so you need a way to honestly address them, and that in a way that is not giving them more power, but it's taking the power away. And that's what tapping does. When we're tapping, I'm going to do it right now just so you can all see it, because it is this simple as far as what you do, and you do it yourself. So there's your point.
Can you explain a little bit why it works? I mean, I know what tapping is, but maybe people don't know what it is. And just, I remember I wanted to introduce it in my choir, and in the beginning when we warm up the voices, I made them do this, and they laughed, They didn't want to follow me because they found it strange. So maybe you can explain us a little bit why it is effective.
Okay, yes. So the way I like to explain it, because it helps me to make sense for myself, is that we have arteries that run through our body that carries blood, right, and feeds us and keeps us alive and feeds the organs, feeds all, our body parts, our muscles, okay, our heart, it pumps through. Well, we also have energy channels called nadis and meridians, and they literally carry energy, and those energies feed and fuel us. And when we've had either a physical or an emotional trauma, when we've had repetitive thoughts, when we have, decided that something is true for us, and usually this is, we're not always aware of that we're doing this, they become like stuck energy literally in the body. And so by tapping, these are the endpoints that we're tapping on, it flushes the energy. Like it flushes energy and moves it through so it can break up what's stuck. So, and that's where awareness comes in, because so much of what we're doing with tapping is we start with an awareness that we are clear about. in our consciousness, in our, you know, in our finite mind, where we know what we know. We start out there with that awareness. And as you start to tap, what happens is we go into an awareness that we don't know. We go into the space of things that are locked away, and we know it at an unconscious level, but we don't know it in our everyday awareness. And that's where a lot of the freedom comes from. But when you start tapping, when you know what you want, and everybody has emotions. Like, a lot of times we try to ignore them, we try to stamp them down, we don't want to deal with them, we think they're bad. They're absolutely not bad. They're wonderful, because they have so much information, and they help us tune into our own inner wisdom and give us the information we need. If we're feeling something, it's real and it's valid. And by tapping and acknowledging them, we're giving them the awareness, we're giving them validity. And then that, by doing that, it absolutely helps to take out the, I'm sorry, yes, it is acupuncture meridian, Scott, but what they learned how to do back in the day when they would tap on all specific points, Gary Craig actually discovered that we could tap on just the points that I showed you, which are the end points, and it's just equally as effective without having to go into each specific point as we do with acupuncture. But it's really based on the principle of what acupuncture does.
Great, thank you for
yeah.
the explanation.
So for me, it marries the conscious with the unconscious. So that, again, we have a better awareness. If you're having a block, like if you say you've set a goal to, let's say, get 6 new clients this month, okay, and it's not happening, chances are you have a belief somewhere that you really can't do that it's not possible for you, or you have a fear of something that you need to do, which might be to pick up the phone and call some people, or to, you know,
that is so funny.
But oftentimes we don't know what those fears or those limits are, or we don't even know that we don't believe it's possible. So by tapping on, you know, the goal or with the challenge or what's not happening, and really allowing yourself to be honest with how you feel about that and take the power out of it, what happens now, it collapses it, it neutralizes it. You can start to feel calm, and a couple things happen. One, you might have a memory or an awareness of something that was like, oh my goodness, I would never have made that connection, but this happened to me in 5th grade, and I did this, and my teacher said this. And you know what? That has been running the show all these years. And so now you get that you're aware of it, and you're like, oh, so you clear out that whole experience, that trauma of how it affected you, and it's gone. And now, again, you've neutralized it, and you can go in now, and we can tap in a more positive, affirming thought. We can tap in the energy you need to have the belief that you want. So it's pretty, I mean, there's just so many ways that we can use tapping, and that's why working with someone that is, you know, trained in this is going to be far more beneficial in the big picture than just trying to always do it by yourself. That being said, it's a wonderful thing to know that you can do on your own, because it will help in the moment. It will help you collapse something instead of building and feeding a negative thought or belief or energy or emotion. Like if you're really angry and you start tapping, you can get calm. You know, if you're really stressed out and have a lot of anxiety, you can tap and you can instantly get calm. So there's so many applications and uses for it.
Yeah, you practically say that with tapping you can deprogram your mind and your behavior and reprogram it again.
Oh, so I love that. That's perfect. That's a perfect description.
Yeah. I know many singers who are using tapping, and especially, you know, when you are in a high range of singers where they pay you thousands and thousands of dollars for an evening, you cannot really go there and have fear or whatever. And so I know these people, they're often using tapping to keep their how do you say, their continence, their calmness, their confidence in themselves, that they will make it perfectly, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because the more you go up in the ladder, the more things, when they happen, are have big consequences. So you are always more under stress. You know, when I sing here in a little church, I can be, you know, without fear because nothing happens. But if you be in the, I don't know, in Chicago, the main theater, and have to sing a primary role in the first exhibition, as an ex-student of mine did about half a year ago, you know, you need to have your nerves together. So.
Oh, yes, you do.
And I know he's using tapping too.
And that's
So
a really,
good.
really great application for it in the moment, you know, to help them be able to be in their absolute best state to perform. Yes.
Yeah. So I'm going to summarize again here. So with tapping, that you're tapping on the different points to release the blockages and this built up things in your channels. And it's also named reprogramming. Did I get that right?
Love it. Oh my goodness. Are you going to scan those in and put them in on the event page?
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe I can use them for inspiration in writing a blog post or something too. Yeah, so that, you know, so tapping obviously is one thing that I am really obviously a huge fan of sharing and using with my clients and with myself. And there are many others. So I thought we could just touch upon some of the other things that are also very helpful in gaining a sense of awareness around our intentions and our visions. And I know that you will agree with both of these because I know you both probably use them yourselves and do them. So intuition, obviously, is something that is really important. And I think that we all are born coming into this world really tuned in to intuition, and that's really what I feel. Intuition is just our connection to source. It's the connection to all that is, to all the information that we really already know for our highest good, based on that connection to source and maybe other experiences. And when we allow ourselves to tune into that, that's where our inner wisdom and our inner guidance comes from. And it can be so amazing to be tuned into your intuition because it provides guidance for us in so many areas of our life. And I think that it's important to understand that intuition works many different ways, that each of us have a more comfortable or primary way that we are able to tune into it, but yet we can learn all of them and access all of them. And I mean, for me, it's really, truly important in the work that I do because when I'm tapping with a client, when I'm doing energy healings or chakra healings, when I'm taking people on journeys or helping them work through past life experiences, I need to be really, really tuned in to my guides, to source, for me to be the conduit and the channel to facilitate that experience. So not everyone obviously wants to use their intuition in that capacity. But before I started to do that, the intuition is what helped me to make decisions in my personal life. It gave me direction for what I need to be healthy. And absolutely, when I am sick and I'm run down, it's because I'm not listening to intuition. And I've, proved that to myself too many times to ignore it. We all talk about the gut feeling, that's definitely true, but how many times have you maybe had a thought in your head that you don't know where it come from that will say to you, I know this probably isn't a good decision, but we ignore it and we do it anyway, and then on hindsight realize it really wasn't a good decision. And so, we get our information mentally and spiritually, empathically, and there's 4 of them, I'm sorry. Spiritual, mental, empathic, and what's the last one I'm missing? Physical, right. Because we can get it through objects. We can get it, so there's a lot of ways. And when you start to really understand that and use it to your benefit, it is just life-changing for me. And that's one thing I'm really, really becoming extremely passionate about, wanting to teach and share and help people to tune more into that.
Exactly, Cheri. How can we learn that?
Well, I mean, I teach it, but just in the general sense. again, you start with awareness. Start to notice when you might have had a thought that was, say, sort of giving you some guidance or a feeling in your body. And you start to really notice that and ask yourself, what's that telling me? What can I learn from this? A lot of self-inquiry, I think, is important. Writing, journaling is so amazing. I know you two have a course coming up where you're going to actually be using doodling, and not, it's not doodling, but it's a very technique to help us again tune into the intuitive parts of ourselves. I just think it's getting quiet and getting still in whatever way that looks like. Meditation, again, journaling, learning to use art as a way to access it. I know myself, I've taken classes and courses where we used art to get out of our heads, because basically we need to get out of our heads, our thinking conscious mind of what we know in a very finite, boxed in space. We need to really access what's out there bigger and let that information come in. We need to tune into that. So there's many different ways that allow you to do that.
Yeah, there is, Scott, it was before, but it fits
Yes.
perfectly in now.
Yes.
That return to the bodies. We live so much in our heads, and I think you are so right. And music does it too, by the way.
Music, it does.
Singing.
Listening to music. I have found for myself that, find something that just helps you get out of your head. Tapping, absolutely, Scott. That's one of the reasons I love it, I think, is because it gets not only me, because I've lived there a long time, but anyone I'm working with, it gets you out of that space. But I've gone to art classes, art workshops, and different capacities of doing art, and I'm not an artist. And it was interesting for me because it was so stressful, because I went in with all this judgment around myself, but by doing that, I learned how it wasn't what I was creating that was important to me. It was that process of getting myself just to be, using color or getting out of my head, which then gives you access to what's inside. And that's where our intuition really lies, is within inside ourselves.
Yeah, that's so important to be still and have awareness, because how could you tune in if you're constantly distracted? And so what you mentioned yesterday or just now, at doing art as a meditation, I'm just practicing it here to put it down on a paper, right? And so what you said of intuition is, it's like you're tuning in from a source and connect with the heart on the 4 levels, and you get guidance, and you can do all kinds of things with it, healing and chakra balancing and whatever, and tune in and learn new things. So this is very important, I think, for actually using intuition to guide you, because if you don't have that guidance, who are you going to believe in? What is your grounding place? Where do you take your energy from? Because if you don't take it from here, then you have to take it from other people, right? Go ahead.
I would like to jump in a little bit, because we are talking about going out of our heads. When I first started meditation and people said, you have to go out of your head, I really thought I don't have to think, and I must be sort of, like in deep sleep, that there's nothing going on. And that's actually not right, because when you do the art, for instance, you still think something. But it's not these normal thoughts which say you should do that, and now you look, and when afterwards, maybe when we go to dinner, when we have, your thoughts are sort of directed to what you are doing. It's not that they are completely without thoughts.
Yes.
It's practically impossible in normal life. Yeah, because you need this way of thinking, but it's not this normal storytelling which is going on all the time. So I had a hard time to, I sort of, many years ago, I tried to beat me up because I still had thoughts, until I realized it was not about that.
That's the important. That's so
Completely agree.
important, Heidi. Thank you for bringing that up. It's so true, because I'm the same. You know, so you're right. The thoughts are there. It's just, I think, not becoming attached to them, and
Yeah.
not right. It's just allowing them just to flow and to come and to go, and not have an attachment to them, um, and making them mean something, and just letting them affect you.
Can I
So
share this little thing that's illustrating that what Heidi said?
yes,
You have to see inside of your heart and come down here. That's the 17 inches of journey. That's the most difficult journey in our life. Instead of listening to critics and opinions and all kinds of other things up here, and grounding yourself in the heart. Do you
yeah,
agree with that?
I do. I think anytime we allow ourselves to do a creative activity, whether it's music or dance or art or writing, pottery, anything that's a creative gets us closer and closer to our intuition and more out of our critical mind. And it's difficult because when you first start to do something that might not be your natural thing, I think you can be so stuck in the critical mind as you're doing it, and the continuation of it is what eventually helps you to let that go. So I'm a huge believer in just experiencing creativity from different channels, because I think that does open up your capacity for intuition.
I have a question there about this. So, how do you develop your inner? You talked about the inner wisdom, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now we've mentioned tapping and meditation and intuition. So how does that come together to actually connect you to the inner wisdom? What do you say about that?
I think it grows and they all build upon each other, and it's really having you develop a practice of something. So for me, the most important thing is to ground my energy and to connect to divine energy daily as soon as I wake throughout the day, to truly allow myself to receive that information, and also to surround myself with light so that it's my information, so it's my intuition, it's my connection to spirit. Because I think what happens to so many people is that they receiving all these messages, or it's like large antenna and sponges, and you're receiving all this stuff that you can't separate, and you think it's yours when it's not yours. So part of it, and that I just want you, I have a very simple 7-minute grounding meditation that is for free if you go to cherivalentine.com/success. And there's 3 meditations there. There's a gratitude, there is setting intentions, and there's the grounding and setting your space. And that is, for me, when I really started to understand that connection and I started to ground my energy and connect to source, that I started to notice more intuitive kind of hits coming through. So I think that's the first step, is to really you need to start having a grounding ritual, whether it's the meditation that I provide, whether it's you go sit out in nature in the morning, because nature in and itself can be very grounding, and when you're in nature, you're grounded to the earth and to the sky, and you allow that. But you intentionally need to do that. You need to intentionally set that space for yourself, and that's the first place to start. And then you build from there, because the more you're doing that, the easier it becomes, the more tuned in you're going to start to be. When you're tapping, you're removing some of the interferences that might not be allowing you to tune in. When you work in the chakras and you balance your chakras and you understand the information that's in the chakras, and again, clear anything in there that you're carrying that's not yours, that you took in from generational, from past lives, and you start to clear it. The more that you clear anything that is interfering with that connection, the more open you're going to be to receiving it.
We have a comment here, Heidi.
Yeah, this is Christine. Hi, Christine. Great that you are here. She says there is a huge difference between thinking about something or trying to figure something out versus opening to know the next step. I think you are so right. And she says also in another comment to you, Margarita, great visuals. And then she says also, oh, she is very proliferate. There's another comment. The intuitive chakra is in the head. And then I saw another comment from Scott a little bit below.
That's a great comment, by the way. Thank you so much.
Yeah, great. Scott says, it seems like the world is continuing to evolve and expand in faster and faster ways. The pace is just ever quickening. Do you agree? Is the world waking up faster? I do.
I agree. It's time, by the way, Scott. It is time. I think there's been so many of light workers or healers that have been doing the work necessary on a collective consciousness level for that to happen. I think children are coming in wiser, more tuned in. I think more adults are aware of it, and so it's not being stamped down or quieted. People aren't afraid of it, and yes, it's definitely happening faster, and I think it's time for that.
Yeah. Wow, this has been actually mind-blowing, this topic today and the interaction and the comments. And we have 4 minutes left. Okay. So what is your takeaway here, Cheri?
I want to just, if people are interested in what we're talking about, then I invite you to, again, go to cherivalentine.com. I have the free meditations that can get you started. I have meditations that are very inexpensive, $1.99. There's a whole series on the chakras, so 5-minute meditation on each chakra. There's also another set right now for business success, and each month I add more. And again, that's just another way to practice meditation. It takes 5 minutes, and to really focus in on a particular area. And I think the chakra meditations are so important. And then if you really want to if you're into, these are all like inexpensive self-study ways for people to at least get started. I have a course called Wisdom Through the Chakras in EFT. And again, you can purchase each chakra as its own standalone course, or you can get the whole course. And all of that is on the website. And of course, if you want to have a personal experience or take it deeper, there you can just fill out a form and let me know you'd like to have an initial consultation, so we can just have a conversation and see what's going on and where are you really wanting to take this further, and we can just put a customized plan in place for you. But you also can just go to my website on the services page, and you can just choose a service and just if something's really calling to, something you really want to do, you can just do that as well. I do have a retreat. It's Intuition Immersion coming up in November. It is in New Hampshire, though, so I'm not sure that everyone's going to be able to or want to travel, and that's okay. If you want information about that, let me know. But I will also be offering that same Intuition Immersion through a virtual sort of video experience so that we can do it on a more global level, and that also I'll be doing probably in early December. So there's lots of different ways. And by the way, I'm one source, and I'm really grateful to be out here and be able to show you all those and tell you they're available. But you also have Heidi and Marguerite here, and I know that they have some phenomenal programs and information and services also. So you've got 3 really good sources to get started.
Thank you so much, Cheri. So my takeaway here is that we have connected with a person, Cheri Valentine here, and added it to our network of trusted collaborators and friends, and to share the gift of healing to more people. I think that collaboration and if you have one little source, it goes like this. If you have 2 sources, you get like this. If you have 3 sources, you get like that. And in the end, it makes more waves that can help people. And that's a super mission in my life, to actually facilitate healing. So thank you so much, Cheri, for coming today. And now over to you, Heidi.
Yeah, I thank you too very much, because as you know, I'm very much interested in techniques for raising consciousness in the world, because in the world, yeah, first we have to begin with ourselves if you want to raise consciousness in the world. And there are several techniques out, and some people are more drawn to one and the others are more drawn to others. And you know, I know EFT and I know ERT and I know others, and I find them all very valuable. And I also think, for instance, the drawing, what we did, what Margarita does, Christine says, is great visuals, and I posted just now the link to the webinar we did yesterday. I mean, she and Scott did the teaching, and Valentine, Cheri was here too, and me too, and you might check that out who is interested in seeing this, because we can do a lot of this healing work with visuals, with drawing, and you know, and even if you think you are not able to do it, as I thought for a long time, you know, you just begin. And Margarita is really great, and also Scott to tell you how to begin, just with 4 points, you know, and 4 points, everybody can do that. So just posted the link, and I can, for the YouTube people, I can read it, can I, or not? Oh, it's too difficult. But you can go to website, I guess. Margarita, can you say where they can find the link?
I will post it in the comments here.
Yeah, I posted it in the comments, but for YouTube, we need to post it then on the YouTube there, because they don't.
You know what you can do,
anyway.
Heidi, in the description on YouTube, the very first thing, have the link before the description of the video, and that way it will be right there as well.
Awesome.
And then I wanted to add that I'm very much at the moment in discovering a new technique in deconstructing the blockages, let's say, and this is called the Gold Key Release. It's organized by the Wisdom Factory. If you go to the Wisdom Factory page, you will find it there. And it's taught by Lawrence Gold, and we will begin a course next week too. So you have all sorts of tools at a choice, and everybody finds the right thing for themselves. By the way, we have on the Wisdom Factory YouTube channel already quite a bit of events with Lawrence, and on his website and channel you can find it out, and go to Cheri and go to Margarita and go to us and go to everywhere, and you will find out what is good for you.
Just, you know, pick something and just get started. You know, just get started, and then you'll trust that you will be led and guided as you need to be to grow and tune in and receive what you need.
And that's, I have illustrated it here with the golden cup with the heart in. So let's help everyone to get to where they want to be.
And the important thing, and I want to come back to the beginning, is the intention to want to change something in our lives. And for me, it's always important that we change something in our lives towards the good and an opening. We will help the world to change.
Yes, and I just want to, we're all here. We're teachers, we're guides, but in the end, you cannot give your power away to everyone else. You need to work with all of us so that you can tune in to your own inner wisdom that is there, and be guided and led by that. And it's not easy to do by yourself. I know, we all have our own support systems in place, because it's always good to have somebody holding that space for you, helping you feel safe, teaching you the tools, guiding you and leading you. But in the end, you need to take responsibility and know that it's all internal, and that you take what you can get from all of us and use it for your highest good.
And I think,
yes, Kristen, I agree. Thank you.
This comment from Christine is a very good thing to wrap up our show today. She says, it's agreed, creating a world that works for everyone together. Exactly. And that's what we are all trying to do. And you too, I know that, and Scott and all the other people following us. Thank you.
Can I just give a big shout of gratitude to Kristen and to Scott for being here and for all your phenomenal comments. Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you.
And thank you for coming, Cheri. And that's the end. Is there anything more to say? I don't know, other than a big heart, you know? Blessings
thank
to
you.
all of you.
Yes.